Hey, Keith here with New Vintage Auto, and I've got some exciting news. We've got some samples in today, and I've gone over them and kind of checked them out, and I think they're going to be winners. So, if you haven't noticed, this year, 2025, spent a lot of time and money and energy in having parts produced that have either never been available or much needed, and there's no source for them. So being in a restoration business, it's getting harder and harder to find good quality used parts because these cars are 50 years old now. And I'm referring to the Opel GTs, if you haven't followed yet. So I wanted to show you a good source of some of the most recent products and show some comparisons of like new old stock to our new stuff and vice versa. So follow along. All right, so what is new for 2025 going into 2026 is new Opel GT door rubber. And I'm going to go over this especially a little bit later in this video, but this is my sample. I've installed it on this car behind us. I'm going to show you the fit and finish so you can compare. Also, I've done a video on this, but our new under hood rubber is real pliable, fits like the original. And I've done a video of the install on this on that car, so you can catch that on another video that we've done. And if you've missed out on the news, we've had armrests made in black, white, and red. Now, the white and the red are not going to be perfect for your interior. They might be, they might not be. But if some people have tan, beige, custom colors. If you have a custom color that is not in the red family, you'll want the white ones to dye. These are treated with an anti-yellowing agent where the black isn't. And if you try to dye the black, it will yellow even through the dye. So these just showed up, and this is something I personally have been wanting for several years, and I finally just bit the bullet and did it. Is the fuse box connections. Okay, you've got 5 colors of connectors, and my issue is I have to reuse these, and I clean them up and I do the best I can, but sometimes they're melted, or most of the time, probably like 90% of the time, the tabs are broken. And let me get a color you can kind of see here. So these tabs break all the time, and that's fine. But if you to get another one, you gotta rob another fuse box, and then if it doesn't have all its connectors, you're robbing another fuse box, and it just was running out of these. Now, I all of a sudden I got a bunch of good used ones, but generally I need a core. Now, all I'll need is the core of the fuse strip, and I've actually got several of those. So, it might not even require a core anymore if I'm building you a wiring harness. And I fully tested them. Now they sent me this blue color. I don't know why that wasn't on it. I mean, for a sample, it's fine. I tested it with the wires and stuff, but there will be no blue. It'll be yellow, and these actually are old ones. And the red is a little opaque. It's not quite right, and we're going to fix that. I'll send them a color code and tell them to make it more solid. But here's the original male connectors, and there's that new connector with the terminals in it, and this has terminals, and I mean, it plugs right in. It's nice. These are reproduction fuse boxes in the plastic, and I really like the plastic because these snap in really, really tight, where they're a bit loose on the metal ones. And but they all fit and they look great. I'm honestly, we'll probably start selling these with a fuse box. But anyways, I had done those just for myself, but then people were like, hey, we want those too, you know. So these will be available for sale. I don't know if I'm going to retail them or probably, you know, the Opel suppliers, whoever wants them, I'll wholesale to them and then they can distribute them. And also, this is the new console bezel. And this piece is a little funny. It's always, you know, sometimes messed up or missing and such. And to show in one of our new consoles where it goes, that's where it clips in. And these are our new consoles in the same colors, red, white, and black. Here's the white one. And these are really high quality. We've actually extended the slot a few millimeters up here because a lot of times the damage is done from the handle coming up and hitting right here. So we've done that. They fit great. They're a lot more robust than the original. So when you put these clips in and you go to snap it in, the clips don't go up into the material like they did the originals. So I'm real excited about those. And we were working with that company right now to do a complete dashboard. So what I want to do, I'm going to go over the rubber for the door jambs right now and show you the differences and what you're looking at. Okay. So this roll back here is a new old stock piece, and I've cut a little piece off so we can better see it. What I like about the original rubber is if you look in this grip zone, I'll call it, you'll see that part of this foam bulb, the seal, kind of goes up into that. And that just kind of gives it almost like a decorative edge up against the metal. I don't know if it was meant for that or just an extra seal. But one of the issues with this rubber as well, not as bad as like the aftermarket stuff, is this bulb is a separate piece from the grip zone. You can see how I can kind of pull it up. And that's good in ways because like the bottom, you need to cut off a little bit of the grip zone to leave some overhang. But, you know, this is quite stiff, you know, for the curves. And, you know, the top corner of that door frame, you know, it could be a little more flexible. Then here's the aftermarket stuff, and this actually works, but it's got its issues, and that's why we actually went with making our new stuff. So you see, it's just a simple grip zone. It's a smaller grip zone, and the bulb is just sealed to it. Well, over time, especially in the corner where it's stressed, that comes right loose. And it's usually in that top corner when it's bent, when it's got to go to the bend it needs, this gets kind of kinked and it doesn't sit right in that corner. So there's a visual difference, and I've had a lot of people in that top corner, it separates over time. Just it deteriorates from wear. And So this is ours, and it is fully molded. So the bulb is part of this. And so it literally cannot separate. And that's a plus, is it won't come from that. It's got plenty of flex, but it's also got enough stiffness to seal. And it's easy to install. I installed it and I was like, wow, this is a lot easier to install. The only drawback I can find is when you got to do the lower overhang, you know, you typically leave about a 3/4 of an inch of the bulb seal to overhang. And with this, you'll have to use a razor blade and you'll have to cut it really close to the metal that's in the grip. Because you're actually going to be needing that inside of that bulb. That's the only thing I can find. I'm not going to cry about that. Also, these original door seals, they had this about a 7-inch piece of some was hard rubber or solid foam rubber. Some is hollow in here. I'm actually going to have the hollow stuff made because it went up into the bulb, and here's the original, and it fits pretty snug in there. You're going to have to do something to kind of work it through to get it up. You got to move it up about midway of that door jamb. Well, here's the original, and this is NOS. These will flatten out over the years in your original seals. But here's mine, and it fits nice and snug just as it does the original seals. So I'm really excited about this. I'm going to show you in the door jamb right now. So I wanted to test these seals on a door that I already knew everything was shutting correctly, everything's lined up, and the seals on this were good. And this door already had a bit of a spring to it, and I thought is because the factory actually installed this rubber on the wrong side. It's left and right was mixed up. But this is my new seal, and installed really nice. I'll shut the door. Door shuts, no issue. Got a little spring back when I open it. With no real effort. Sometimes that door will hang on me a little bit. And then in the corner, that's all the way up. And these kind of always, this is an original car, so it's got some, old glue and remnants, but that's the corner, and I feel like it's really nice. So that solid rubber piece goes right here in this jamb, okay, right there. And I'm going to figure out a way to make it, if we pre-cut some of these, to install that piece. But this is where especially the original stuff wants to come apart. And like I said, this can't, you're not pulling that off. So I think this is a winner. Expect this stuff in January, into January 2026. It's got my approval already, and it should be going into manufacturing, and we'll have it shortly.